Alrighty.
Oh, look at that muscle.
Oh.
A little bit of muscle.
Oh, hello.
Look at that
Okay, wait.
shoulder.
Can I just like doing like the straight up? What's the girl's name?
Rosie.
Like,
Rosie the Riveter.
I got the hair and everything. Like
I'm the Puerto Rican Rosie the Riveter. My name is Rosie from the Bronx. I am Rosie the Riveter.
oh my god, I love it so much. Like you just took that. I'm like, it's Rosie. Okay, that was fun. All right. Hello, and welcome to the Life Unleashed show. I am your host, Kat Spangler, and this is my hilarious best friend.
It's debatable. Giovanni Cruz.
And today we're getting a little bit silly, apparently. But no, today we're talking about the 4 worst foods for weight loss. So no surprise here. There are going to be some things that we have talked about in past episodes that are going to be reoccurring here because they're true.
Because of duh.
But we are going to be talking about a couple small things that we have not talked about before. So buckle your seatbelts, guys. It's going to be exciting. It's really okay. Anyways, so the first one, no surprise here. The biggest one, probably the most important one, I would argue, is added sugar. Added sugar. So that's talking about processed carbs, that's talking about high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, anything that ends with an ose.
So many things.
So many things. So basically it's anything that is not sort of naturally occurring sugar from things like fruits or whole grains. And by the way, whole grain as in like brown rice is not the same as whole grain brown rice bread. It still is processed when it's in its bread form and therefore is going to act as a processed sugar in your body, although it is better than something like a white bread.
Right.
It's the whole good, better, best.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they had to break it down in some form or capacity to bake it, to put it in another thing, like as an ingredient, then at that point it's processed.
It is processed. Doesn't mean it's the most unhealthy thing in the world. It just depends. Always look at your ingredients list. That's one of the biggest things that's going to tell you if it's filled with a bunch of crap that you can't pronounce. It's probably not so good for you.
It's
so
that whole
put it back on the shelf.
Good, better, best thing.
Yeah.
Like whole grains in their natural form, best.
Yeah.
Slightly processed whole grains in a bread form, but they're still whole grains.
That you can pronounce all the ingredients.
And you can pronounce all the ingredients. Okay, that's okay.
Like rice cakes, where it's just, it technically is one ingredient, it's rice, but it's been processed into a little cake form. Like, that's going to be better than a rice bread that has all the ingredients.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the difference
and stuff. Yeah,
layers.
That makes sense. That's a really good. But then, of course, rice. Just right. Like brown rice, not white rice. White rice has been processed. But like
correct.
Brown rice. Natural brown rice.
Food that's like straight out of the ground or straight out of...
Best.
Yes.
Yeah. And
exactly.
Why do we resist eating food like that, though? Why is it that we... And you know what? I think it's because of the sugar. Because the sugar content...
It is addictive. Like, we know that. It is definitely addictive. And I actually really liked the woman that I talked to on the bonus episode from last week, Kelly. She put it a really good way. Because I know I've talked about how sugar is addictive in the past. But she talked about it in the context of, like, straight up thinking about a drug. So you take the drug, you experience this really amazing high, and then it drops, and you're like, oh, I need more. I need more. I need more. That's exactly what's happening with sugar.
Well, isn't there a study out there floating around, or at least it's something that I've heard, that sugar is, 6 times more addictive than cocaine?
Oh, I've been saying it's as addictive as cocaine. I don't know if I realized it was 6 times.
I've heard that it was 6 times more addictive.
You guys correct us if we're wrong, but that sounds really aggressive.
I might have, I could be, I'm pretty sure that's, I don't have the materials in front of me.
Regardless, we know it's extremely addictive.
It's very addictive. So wait, you mentioned your friend Kelly from Monday's podcast. So Tuesday's podcast. Okay. Yes. So really quickly, who is Kelly? What does she do? And what is the podcast about?
Well, so hopefully you guys have, hopefully you guys have listened to it. If you haven't, you really should. So it's Kelly Kemp. I actually met her through LinkedIn of all places. And she is like this powerhouse entrepreneur. She has her own publishing house. She is a holistic nutritionist. She is an herbalist. She has a degree, Master of Science in, I think it's like alternative medicine and something, but it's not straight up doctor. But anyway, so she is just well versed on holistic health and healing and all that, and she has a book that just came out that's all about growing your own healing herbs and foods and stuff. So,
totally gotta get that.
Yeah, oh my god, so cool. It's called Growing Wellness, so if you guys haven't checked that out, go to the last episode, the bonus episode with Kelly Kemp. There's a link to get her book on Amazon.
Very, very into holistic healing, which is kind of, this is more preventative stuff, like these 4 foods. So sugar, bad.
Sugar bad.
Added sugar bad. And I believe that you can Dr. Google. I call it Dr. Google because he's a doctorate of all knowledge. But I believe you can Dr. Google all alternative names for sugar. And the list is repulsive.
Is extensive.
It's so long.
Yeah.
And there's some,
well, that's why I like to say, if you don't know because if you know what the ingredient is, you know if it's sugar or not. Because it's like, if I'm looking and I see potato, I know that's not sugar, it's freaking potato. But if there's a bunch of words that you don't know, then it's like, it very well could be. And in all likelihood is added sugar or some sort of preservative or what have you.
Do you know, speaking of potato, tomato. Do you know if things like starches, like potato starch or corn starch, are those added sugars? Because we know that corn, what is it?
I don't know that I would qualify it as an added sugar, but yes, I would imagine it would
sugar in
still,
your body.
Yeah, and I would imagine it still is going to spike your insulin because it is the concentrated starch, which is like sort of the concentrated carb of the food. So I'll be honest, I haven't actually specifically looked that up. That's actually interesting. I always feel like, oh my god, I've read everything under the sun. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. So my reasoning is, I see that and I think, oh, this is gonna spike my blood sugar because, like you said, it's a concentrated starch. Starches turn into sugar in your body. They break down into glucose, right? And so that plus the added sugar is gonna super spike your insulin. So I don't know. I tend to see corn starches and potato starches, and
I would let it, that should be a little bit of a trigger. Yeah, of looking at it being like, oh, do I need it? Do I want it? I would also look at the fiber content.
Yeah, I always do
that's the other piece, is that if you're looking at something and there's very little fiber, then that's pretty much automatic. You're going to spike your blood sugar. But if you have high fiber content, high protein content, that's going to make sure that the blood sugar stays a little bit more even keel. So that's something to keep an eye on too.
Yeah.
But also, so there's always nuances, right? Because there's sometimes where it's like they'll have cereals that it still is like processed sugary crap, but they'll have basically added fiber to it to make it look like, oh, this is healthy. So there's a certain level of use common sense, guys. Like if it's sugary processed crap, but it's like, oh, but it has fiber, like don't try to let yourself off the hook is really what I'm trying to get at.
Eat a banana.
Yeah.
It's better for you. It has lots of sugar that's natural that your body can process. Okay.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Yeah. 100%.
Eat a banana. So sugar bad for you. We know this. What's the next one?
The next one is processed food. So we've already been talking about this quite a bit, and a couple of the biggest reasons for this. So number one with processed food, I think we may have chatted about this before, but I want to reiterate it, is net calories. So if something is already processed, the more processed something already is, the less work your body has to do to process it. So it's not going to burn as many calories as eating something that is unprocessed. So the net calories, i.e. the calories that you're actually holding onto or utilizing, is going to be higher in processed foods than their whole food counterparts. So that's something that you really, really want to be mindful of, is it's not always just about the number of calories that is labeled on the package, which, by the way, that can be up to 20 to 25% off anyways. But it's also going to be looking at the net calories. I
did not know that. 20 to 25% off. So like if I get like a prepackaged baggie of nuts or something, that can still be 20 to 25%. More or less, or just more?
More or less. Like it's not an exact science, more or less. And then same thing, like when you're looking at the calorie contents of an apple, like think about the different sizes of apples.
Right.
So just
that,
understand, calorie counting is never an exact science.
Right.
It's to try to see the ballpark and see, like, am I hitting close or am I way the frack off?
Got it. Yeah, well, because for instance, I'm logging my food right now to help me lose weight, and I have these tiny organic apples that I get from the store.
I love those.
Tiny organic apples.
They're
like little ones. And then I have like a normal, just like there's something in that ain't, is Big Apple, But when I log it, it logs it the same.
Right.
So then I have to say that I had half an apple, even though I had a whole apple. It was just a smaller apple to make it kind of right.
Even out-ish.
Yeah.
Ishly. Yeah.
Yeah. But that makes sense to me, especially when dealing with actual whole foods.
Yes. So that's something to be mindful of is you're not just straight up looking at the calories, you're paying attention to, again, how processed it is. And then the other thing with processed foods is it is going to affect your hunger hormones. It's going to affect your hormones in general, but it really is going to affect those hunger hormones. So I know we've talked about if you eat specifically the fake sugars, the aspartames, the what have you, like those things kind of shut down your satiety hormones. So, and it's,
leptin.
So you don't realize if you are full. So you tend to eat, like I read it a long time ago, so I'm going to fudge the numbers a little bit, but it was something like you eat like 300 to 400 calories. You tend to eat 300 to 400 calories more in a day if you have like diet sodas or
because your mouth is saying sugar, but your brain is going, nah, hold up,
nope,
that ain't sugar,
that ain't, nope, that's not what we need.
Let's have a donut instead. That's sugar, because your brain and your body are not agreeing
right
on whether or not it's sugar
and whether or not it's food.
Yeah, because your insulin, your mouth is having the response, but your insulin's not having, your hormones aren't having the response to sugar. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I've been really focusing on this because we always go, I don't know which is what. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. Leptin is the satiety hormone.
Okay, we have to think about a way to remember that. Ghrelin, grr. My stomach is hungry.
My stomach is growling.
Okay, I like this. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone.
Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. Leptin, I don't know. Leptin just sounds like a pill.
I saying it leptin.
Leptin, whatever.
Leptin.
It sounds like a pill.
It does.
It sounds like
Lipitor.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that's where my brain was going with that. Anyways, ghrelin is GR for hunger.
Yes.
But yeah, so
what?
Totally off on a bunny trail. Okay, so sugar, processed foods. Where else are we going with this list?
Okay, so this is one we have not specifically talked about. What?
Wait,
just got real excited.
So, well, no. So break it really quickly because we didn't do this. How do you know if a food is processed? Now, you did kind of say this, but there is a rule that we kind of go by, and isn't it that like 3 or more ingredients or something like that?
Well, Michael Pollan, he kind of set the rule of only get foods that have 5 ingredients or less. But that doesn't necessarily differentiate between processed or not, because you could have it's like the rice cakes. That's one ingredient; it still is processed. Or like what we were talking about the other day. Dried fruit is processed.
Dried mango. Oh.
Candy. It's candy.
It's nature's gift to my mouth. It is so good.
It is really good. It's fine. I don't buy it. Like, I can't, every once in a while, once in a blue moon, because I'll just pound an entire bag and be like, okay.
You said pound a bag.
I'm working with a 6-year-old over here.
Pound a bag.
That's actually a really dirty 6-year-old, more like a 14-year-old.
Yeah, super dirty 6-year-old. But so
you're still in pound a bag, aren't you?
I can't. I'm trying to recuperate. For the people out there listening to me be as sniveling. Okay, so
bring it back. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and talk because she can't.
So dried mango.
Yes.
So working on exposure therapy? Exposure therapy. Yes.
Okay.
That's what it is. Okay. So it's something that if you have I have a severe, almost debilitating sweet tooth. Like, it's so bad that when Kat encouraged me to do Whole30 the first time, and Whole30, if you don't know what the diet is you kind of cut a bunch of shit out of your diet, and one of the things that you cut out is sugar, processed sugar. And I remember when I was doing a Whole30, I was going bananas, no pun intended, because I couldn't have any processed sugar, and apparently at that time my whole diet contained processed sugar, right? So then several weeks in, I was like, I'm a fruit abuser. I abuse fruit. Like, I will eat the shit out of some fruit. Like, I'll eat like 3 bananas a day and like 5 apples because like I needed.
Which, by the way, is funny because I always talk about, like, you are the one exception to my rule, because whenever I talk about like processed sugar versus natural sugar from fruits, I'm like you're never addicted to fruit, right? Like you don't eat an apple and then you're like, I need to have 18 more. You eat the apple and you're done.
No, man.
She is the exception to the rule.
I am a fruit abuser. Like love me some fruit now. But I also now don't eat a lot of processed sugar, yes. Right? Okay, so then I discovered dried fruit. And we had this discussion a couple weeks ago. I discovered dried fruit and became addicted to dried fruit because then it was like eating candy. It was like legit eating candy.
Yeah.
So I would buy a bag from Trader Joe's. I'd buy a little like 6-ounce bag of dried mangoes and eat it before, like it would be gone before I even made it into my driveway.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's not good. That's like 540 calories.
And by the way, you guys, so I know we talked about this a little bit the other week. In case you don't know, eating dried fruit, obviously from what we're saying, is not the same thing as eating the whole fruit. It is more concentrated sugar.
Yeah.
By drying it, it brings out the sugars in that fruit. Like people think like, oh, whatever the sugar content of an apple is, that's the sugar content you're going to get no matter what. But it's not. And I still don't totally understand how that is.
It's because the water's gone.
The water's gone, but it still is bizarre to me that you can literally see an increase in the amount of sugar. Like, it's weird. But
maybe
it's
because
true.
the fiber, because if the fiber goes away,
but
so
the fiber
balance,
doesn't.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's weird. But that's something to keep in mind, though, is that number one, just like she said, there is no water, so you're not going to be satisfied as quickly. Your stomach is not going to fill up as quickly.
Right.
And then
unless you're gulping down water simultaneously.
Right.
It's
like chugging. And then, you're getting a higher dose of sugar, and it is more like that kind of insulin.
So it's like nature's candy. So anyways,
yeah.
I'm trying this thing called exposure therapy that is very common. It's a psychiatry tool. It's a psych tool where I see the bag of dried mangoes. I look at it. We make eye contact. And I have like 3 little pieces of dried mango, and then I put it away. And then I'm done, because that way I can learn to strengthen.
Working? Yes,
it kind of is, but we know that willpower is not infinite.
And that may work for her, and you may try it, and it may work for you. If you are the person where if it is in your house, you are going to overindulge, keep it out of your goddamn house.
I have been working. Well, see, I've been working on this for a long time. Like first, it was walking by the aisle in the grocery store and going, no. That was step 1.
That's step 1. No.
Now it's...
rejected it.
Yes. Now it's taking the bag and getting 1 bag and making it last for as long as possible, because I'm only allowing myself a bag a month. Mm-hmm. So it's like that's the exposure therapy.
Yeah.
It's like learning how to moderate something that you are addicted to that isn't bad for you, but like for some reason, well, I mean, it could be bad. Like if I just ate dried mango all day long and only got my calories from that, then yeah.
Well, there was a really long time ago that I created this. The funny thing is, I just realized, I think I called it the 7 Day Start Strong.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I just launched a new Start Strong. That's not the same thing, but I didn't realize that until just now. Anyways, I created this 7 Day Start Strong program for weight loss, and I might even relaunch it. It was a good little 7-day workbook. I may just launch it as a little $20 something.
It had all the little pictures and pictographs and stuff. Actually, it was good. You know what? You're right.
I should just put that up because it's already made and it was solid.
She had all these little pictures and stuff.
Yeah, beginning their weight loss journey. It's just good for keeping track of, did you get enough water? Anyways, I talked about red, green, and orange light foods. And I talked about you need to categorize in the different. So green light is you're good. You can have it in the house. It's healthy for you. It's the fruits, it's the vegetables, it's all the green light. Go ahead, enjoy it. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Green light food. Yellow light food or orange light food are things that you have to be a little bit more mindful of. So maybe it's stuff like nuts. Maybe you really enjoy that, but that's going to be really high in calories, so you have to be aware of the portion sizes and just bring a little bit more thought process to it. The red light foods were the ones that if you have one, you're going to have them all. They're things that you start to feel like you have less control over yourself. And those are the things, and that's where it comes into even with stuff that you're like, oh, it's decently healthy. It's not like I'm sitting there eating cookies. She recognized that as that's a red light food. Like I can still way overindulge on that, and that can be a problem for me. So she had to create boundaries around those red light foods. So that's something to kind of keep in mind as you're kind of adjusting your diet. Is what are your red light foods, and what boundaries do you need to set? Do you need to keep it out of your house? Or do you need to, like she did, where it's like, I can have one package, but only, like, one package per month?
Gotta make it last. Well, yeah, so it's like, okay, so when you're looking at the added sugar and the processed foods. Yeah. So this is, again, a processed food. It's lightly processed, but it is processed. And, you know, like, maybe... So here's the thing. So there's my exposure therapy of the dried mango. But then, like, I can still have a raw mango. Yeah. Like, that's not against the rules. But see, the problem is... Like most Merkins, I have to cut the thing. Yeah. Cutting mangoes is such a pain in the ass.
Although I got you that mango cutter.
And you have
still not used it.
I know.
The thing is, I got it for her. I'm like, I want you to try it so I can know if I should get it for myself.
I haven't done that.
I think I got it for her last Christmas.
It was in my stocking. It was in my stocking.
My feelings are very hurt.
It's
real upsetting.
So moving on. So added sugar and processed food. What else you got?
What else you got on this list? Okay, third one is fried food. Fried food.
That one seems obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious, but do you know why?
Because of the trans fats?
Yes, that's one of them.
Because it typically changes the chemical, the composure of the food. Right? Like it takes out all the good stuff.
Well, yeah, it does leach it of its nutrients. Yes, right. Correct. Yes.
And then I'm gonna say because typically when we have them, we can't stop.
That too.
So but I'm not clearly hitting the point that you want to make.
There's a lot of points, and you hit like 3 of them. So that's perfect.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So one of them is the trans fats. And that is, again, affecting your hormones in a really, really big way. And trans fats are extremely, extremely inflammatory for your body.
Yeah. They can make your cholesterol go up.
Oh, my God. Cholesterol. I mean, it's terrible for, just the thyroid, anything. Like, anything dealing with your thyroid or with your hormones. Bad. They're just like that is... Get it out. Like... There are very few things where I'm like, never, ever, 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 ever eat it. Never, ever, 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 ever eat trans fats.
Yeah. Well, and then, they're added on purpose to a lot of foods too, because they make them last longer.
They make them last a whole lot longer. So one thing that you do need to keep in mind too, and this is getting away from fried food, but just looking at packaged food, which is another reason to stay away from it, is they are actually allowed to have a like small percentage of trans fat and list it on the box as 0 trans fat. So what you have to do is you have to look at the ingredients list and see if anywhere on there it says hydrogenated. If it says hydrogenated, blah blah blah, oil,
funny. You say like leptin and leptin. I always say hydrogenated, and you say hydrogenated.
Hydrogenated.
I actually
don't know which one is correct.
Hydrogenated.
Hydrogenated.
If it has hydrogenated oils,
yes, then those are trans fats. Yeah.
Did I know this?
I don't know.
If I did, I clearly forgot.
Well, the funny thing is, I haven't cited that in a really long time. Like that kind of came out of the depths of my soul of memories, because I haven't talked about that in years.
Who needs a Dr. Google when you have cat? Who needs hydrogenated oil? Okay, that's good to know. I'm going to have to look at my packaging when I go home now and see if I have anything like that on there.
Yeah. So check that out. So that's a piece of it. Mm-hmm. Part of it is fried foods. It's literally like a sponge for the fat that it's in. So it's going to be a calorie bomb, period, point blank. And then the last piece is it's going to be coated in refined flour. So that stuff we've already talked about. It's gluten, it's sugar.
Why do they always, like French fries aren't, but some of them are. Some of them, okay. So it's
well, so fries are usually not. I'm saying like by and large fried
but like
foods,
chicken,
like chicken, and I'm literally like my brain is going to the frickin' state fair where it's
I know
like fried Oreos, fried butter.
Just thinking about this the Texas State Fair
opened
just
today.
Started.
Yes.
And it is world renowned for the shitty, albeit delicious foods, and everything is fried. Literally, everything is fried.
3 years ago, I had my first fried Oreo. That is, like, I just got chills. That's actually not a joke. I just got chills. It is the most delicious thing.
But that's because it triggers that, that
like
thing in your brain, the serotonin.
Just everything in your body is like...
The drug addict in you is like, oh, hell yeah, let's have more of that. Yeah.
That was clearly before I knew about my gluten intolerance, which is what I literally remember, because it was early on when Brian and I were dating. It was like 3 years ago that I went. And I still vividly remember, like, I was breaking out so bad along my chin, and I was so embarrassed because even as I was like trying to cover it up, it was just so
all the texture
bumpy and crusty and disgusting. And meanwhile, we're walking through the state fair, and I'm like, fried this, carb that, dairy this,
they have fried ice cream.
That.
I don't even know how you fry ice cream and keep it intact, but they have fried ice cream. Yeah, it's awful. I remember going 3 years ago and trying to be a good little girl and getting pissed off because everything, it was also at the time I was vegetarian, because everything was meat or fried. And I'm like, I just want, and like, can I just get some grapes?
Nope. No, ma'am.
No fresh fruit anywhere. I was like, I just want a salad. Can I get a salad?
What are you doing at the state fair if you're going to get a salad?
Well, I'd never been to the state fair. I lived in Texas all these years, and I've never been to the state fair.
And I hadn't either, and that's what I wanted to go once because I was like, I have to know what this is all about. I can't get down on their turkey legs, though. They got some good turkey legs. Those giant ones.
I just think of all the animals they had to butcher for that. Makes me sad.
We don't need to talk about that.
Okay. So I don't have my glasses on. So trans fat oils, hunger hormone. Okay, so we talked about the trans fat
again. Well, and again,
bomb.
the trans fat are again affecting hormones, including
refined flour. Yeah, I guess you're right. If I have
to
think of everything, more times than not, there's refined flour.
Yes,
except for chips. Chips are fried.
Chips are fried, and there is no refined flour. Mm-hmm. Still not healthy. Still, it's just a potato and all the oil. Or corn. Yeah. Or what have you.
Yeah, because even blue corn tortilla chips are fried, okay?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Unless, like, you would have to literally look for one that says baked, specifically. Which, by the way, baked chips are delicious.
They are. They are super delicious.
They're really yummy.
But
anyways,
a processed food.
Yeah, still processed food. Still processed food, y'all. Okay, last one. And you guys are going to be like, oh my God, Kat, we get it. You're anti-alcohol.
But she's really not.
Like, I can have a cocktail on the weekends. Like,
I've seen this girl drink.
I can drink. I can put them back every once in a while. I try not to because I genuinely, like, hate the feeling of being drunk or hungover, or I don't even aim for tipsy.
Yeah.
I usually just like one glass to be part of the social whatever.
Yeah, I think the only time I ever drink alcohol is with you, and then you see me, like, I sip on one thing, and I might, like,
That's
try.
That's terrible.
I don't drink.
I am the bad influence in your life for drinking?
Yeah,
really?
I don't drink.
Y'all, I'm not doing my job right. This is a problem.
Well, so the thing
Although,
is...
to be fair, I'm really the only one you go out with.
Oh. Oh, she just called me out? She just threw down the gauntlet?
Tell me I'm wrong.
No. I have a very social life.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you know?
Okay, when your job is literally entertainment.
That's not you being social. That's you working.
Yeah, but it's like, I still have to put it on, you know? I still
working.
have to, like, be, like, fun Geo.
Really?
Fuck you.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
I love you so much.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that. Anyways. To the point.
Alcohol.
We're not anti-alcohol, but we are anti-excess.
Yes, and I will tell you, like, again, if you are really, really struggling with your weight, or you're really wanting to drop those pounds fast, like, one of the quickest ways to do it is to cut out alcohol, and I've seen it a million times. Every bride I've ever worked with, let me think if that's true.
I was
quite
a bride
possibly
that you worked with.
Quite possibly.
So it's not true.
It's not true. Okay. Most of the brides I have worked with...
We're going off the rails on this
I know, seriously. Cut out alcohol at least the month before their wedding, and it always is the thing. Like, they can work with me for a long time before then. It's like, they'll drop some weight, and they'll do this. And they cut out the alcohol, and it's like, boom. Scale goes down. Slender as F. Like, slender as F. We curse here. Slender as fuck.
Yeah, because you do rate it explicit on your thing, so you might as well take advantage. So
I'm going to go ahead and take advantage. I curse like a sailor in my life.
Take advantage of the expletives. We try to keep it clean, but it's funny. You rate it ease. We might as well just drop it.
Go ahead and use it.
Just don't listen to us when the children's are in
No, this is not a children. Like, I always respect so much. Like, Rachel Hollis, they do the Start Today morning show, and her whole thing is always like, the babies are listening, so they never curse. And I'm like, I don't know how you do that.
You just don't. It's not that hard.
Oh, but it is. It's just sprinkle it. It's seasoning for the conversation.
It does take practice. I will say my other best friend's babies were with me this weekend. I call them my nieces.
Yes.
But they're obviously not. But yeah, no, there were a couple times where I got into best friend mode and I like started catching and I was like, or I'd go, what the you know, like you start to go and then you're just kind of,
Oh, the first time I met Brian's parents, he took me out to his parents' ranch, and his dad is big with guns and shooting and all that kind of stuff. So we were on the range, and like it slipped. I don't remember what I said, but it definitely like I had every intention of not cursing in front of them that first time, and I definitely did. So it just goes to like I have very
I have a funny story for you. I don't know if you know about this. The first time I met Brian's mother, she was up here. I didn't know she was with him, and he scared me. And I said, "Look at this asshole." Yeah. Because he scared me in public. He was like, he did one of those pop out, boo. And I was like, God. Look at this asshole. And the guy at Trader Joe's was like, okay. And I was like, oh no, he's my really, really good friend. Like, he's my really good friend. But then his mom's right behind him. And I'm like,
right there. Like,
hey.
Hello.
Hi. Hello,
So
Brian's
nice
mother. I'm a friend of Brian's.
That's funny.
It's great.
Anyways.
But I'm not dating him, so I don't,
This is true. So,
It doesn't matter. She's probably already forgotten about me. So moving on. So yeah, so alcohol.
Here's the reason why. Okay. So you got the sugar from the alcohol. You got the extra sugar from whatever freaking mixers and crap that you put in there. You've got, number one, of course, it lowers your, number one, we've already gone through number of things. Anyways, it lowers your inhibition, which means that you're more likely to make poor decisions about your diet. It makes you crave carbs. It lowers your testosterone, which testosterone is a very important hormone for weight loss.
Ladies, you need your testosterone.
Yes, you do.
I know we're all like, I don't want chin hair, but listen, you need your testosterone to keep your muscles on your body, to keep the calories burning.
Exactly.
Listen to me doing all the science.
I know. I'm so proud. Soon she's going to be able to just like host us on her own and be like, you go ahead and do it. I'm good.
I will lie to you.
Fair. I'll go ahead and referee. And then the other piece is anytime that you're drinking booze, your body is going to prioritize burning the booze off over burning your fat off. So if you're drinking, just, again, I've talked about this before, just picture it as like you take that first sip, that is you switching off the fat burning process.
Okay.
It's like a little light switch.
Yeah.
So until that alcohol is processed out your body's like, I'm not going to worry about this fat, I'm going to worry about this toxin that we just introduced into our system.
Let's apply this realistically. Like, even you macro counters out there are more than 3 macros. Alcohol is actually the 4th macro.
Yes, it is. So carbs, this is actually really good. I'm glad you brought that up. Carbs are 4 calories per gram. Protein is 4 calories per gram. Fat is 9 calories per gram, and alcohol is 7 calories per gram.
So it's its own macro. So if you're counting your own, if you're like doing hardcore calorie counting, macro counting, alcohol gets its own category. Period.
Right. Which, by the way, we will be talking about macros very soon. I know that was one of the suggestions from Leslie. That's going to be coming up. We have kind of a lineup of podcasts that are coming. So that'll be there, and we'll dive into all of that. But yeah,
put these back on.
And the other piece is we're about 30 minutes, and we should be good. The other piece is if you have PCOS and you are struggling with your weight,
PCOS is polycystic ovary syndrome.
Yes.
If you don't know what that means.
Yes.
It affects a lot of women, and it affects your hormones, which affects your thyroid, which keeps the pounds on.
Yes, correct. And there's something about, I'll be honest, you guys know I try to know all the sciencey stuff, and I do nerd out about it. I don't remember, I looked it up at some point for a client, and I don't remember what it was. But there's something about alcohol specifically, like, and way more intensely affects people with PCOS than it affects normal people.
Well, you said something about testosterone.
I was going to say, it might have to do with
has to do with estrogen. Because people with PCOS, if I'm not mistaken,
they
have too much estrogen, right? Or too much testosterone.
I think it's that they have too much, although I don't...
We can Dr. Google this now.
You should Dr. Google it, because my phone is being used to record this. Run away. So, because I know, like, I think testosterone is high because I know they talk about the facial hair situation that happens, but also I think estrogen is high because of the weight that you tend to put on with PCOS.
Yeah,
so it could be both.
Yeah.
Or maybe a ratio situation. She's Googling now. We're gonna figure this out. But so, like, even Jillian Michaels talks about this. So she has, if you guys don't know, Jillian Michaels is the celebrity trainer from Biggest Loser. She is fantastic. And she talks about how she has PCOS, and she is like, and she's obviously super, super fit, but she's like, if I drink, she's like, automatically 5 pounds. She's like, it doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter what calorie counting I do, like, I could be perfectly within my range of calories. She's like, but if I drink alcohol, she's like, 5 pounds on my body in like a week.
Is that because of the water too? Because it's alcohol is a diuretic. It pulls all of the water out of your muscles, so your muscles are trying to like recoup.
The way she says it, I don't think so. The way she says it makes it sound like it's very much tied to the PCOS. Okay, it
says that people with PCOS have excess male hormone, which is androgen, androgen levels.
Yep.
And it has something to do with the follicles. So it's not exactly clear. I might have to do a little bit more research on this.
You have to do more digging.
But it basically says elevated levels of male hormone may result in physical signs such as excess facial and body hair and occasionally severe acne and male pattern baldness. But I'm wondering... and it does... play a factor in excess insulin, so that might be where the alcohol comes in.
That's what it is. We found it out. Thank you, Gio.
Dr. Google.
Dr. Google is always here to help.
Yes.
So it's insulin is the problem. So, and that's the other piece, is if you are PCOS, you may consider doing more of a low-carb diet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, like, I'm definitely not going to say full-on keto. Absolutely not. But think just... Focus. If you are eating carbs, focus on fruits and vegetables. Really try to eliminate any processed carbs and try to really load up on healthy protein, healthy fat, and that should help you with the weight issue that usually comes with PCOS. Yeah,
because it says excess insulin might increase androgen production. So it sounds like it is a snowball sort of effect with the PCOS. Oh, God.
I know. There's sometimes I read the symptoms and I'm like, I wonder if I have it. Like, there's a piece of me that is actually curious if I might.
I don't think I think yours is just the thyroid. I mean, I'm not your doctor, but
she's like, I'm gonna diagnose you right now.
I know you pretty well, and we know people with PCOS. Yeah. We have friends with PCOS. I know things show up or present differently, but no.
I love Dr. Gio's comment. She's
not for you.
She's decided. Okay, well, good. Then I'm not gonna worry about going to my doctor. Gio has spoken.
I will say I have diagnosed cancer.
Gift. She has a gift.
I have like a way of looking at people and going, "There, you are this. You need to go see your doctor." Like
she's psychic.
I've looked at my uncle and basically been like, "You have jaundice. You need to go see your doctor." And my other uncle is a doctor. And I was like, yo, Uncle Joe, you need to go look at Uncle Dave. Something's wrong with him. And he was like, whoa, you're right. I've been looking at him all day and I didn't even notice he should go to the doctor. And he had cancer.
You are very, very perceptive. I will say that. Like, not just about people, but just about your surroundings. Like, you'll point out something that I just didn't even register with me. It's a very perceptive human.
Well, it helps that I'm blind, so when I have my glasses on, I'm like, I can see.
I can see the world.
I can see. Look at all the pretty colors, Mom. So right now, if you're watching the video, I've been taking my glasses on and off because we have this light on us, and it's reflecting in my glasses, right? So I didn't want to like.
So I was like, you can be blind. We need to be nicely lit.
Exactly. So right now I'm blind. But yeah, when I'm not blind, it's like, oh wow, look at all the pretty colors.
Look at this. I can see everything.
So we've gone through all 4 categories here:
Yes.
added sugar, processed food, fried food, and alcohol. Alcohol are all things that you should. What do you say? Worst foods for weight loss. And I think it would be really helpful too, since we're talking about reading labels and packaging. You'd be surprised how many people do not know how to read labels.
Yeah.
Like, we should have, like, a quick... I don't think we can cover it quickly now, but, like, I really do think we should have, like, a breakdown of this is how you should read your labels.
Yeah. So, one of the things, like, okay, so we could potentially do a full episode going through, like, the whole thing where it's, serving sizes and the different vitamins,
fiber,
and all that
fiber
piece,
versus
carbs, and fat versus, like, all of that stuff we can look at. But... if you want just the fastest way of like, hey guys, I'm going to the grocery store today, what can I do as far as looking at my labels? Number 1, try to go for mainly foods that don't have labels. Like, that's step numero uno. Mm-hmm. Again, follow the 5 ingredients or under and make sure that you can pronounce them and you know exactly what they are. Like, if you can't picture the food, then you don't know what it is.
Yeah. And sometimes I am not ashamed to be in the grocery store and be that person that's sitting in the aisle for 10 minutes Googling all the ingredients to know what things really are.
Yeah. But again, even if you don't want to, I mean, that's awesome because then you're getting yourself more educated. But if you're in a rush, if you have to Google it, put it back.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. So, that's really like just 2 simple things is look, 5 ingredients or under. Can you pronounce it? Do you know what it is?
And to that effect, if you are in a rush, chances are you're going to the frozen food section. If that is the case, foods that are flash frozen, as in whole vegetables that are flash frozen, are actually in a more nutritious state than the foods in the produce section. Because they were flash frozen at the peak of their ripeness and therefore the peak of their nutrient content. Right. Versus sitting on a truck for days and days and days. And basically, the longer that a fruit or vegetable is out and picked off of the vine, the slowly but surely it starts to lose its nutrients. So actually, flash frozen vegetables are pretty good. So the reason I'm saying this is because I was the girl that would be like, yes, I will get this pre-made stir-fry chicken meal. Okay. Right? And I'm like, yes, I will have the pre-made stir-fry with all the sauces and things already included. Now, I'm like, I'm going to grab my own chicken. I'm going to grab my own flash frozen veggies. I'm going to make my own, stir-fry sauce out of what, ingredients I know work for me. I use coconut aminos. Yep. I don't use soy anymore. Soy sauce substitute. And so just things like that. And it literally takes me like maybe 5 minutes longer to cook it at home that way. If I pre-make the chicken, then, sticking something in the microwave that's like way worse and has like 50 million added ingredients. Yes. With added trans fat, sugar, trans fat, sugar, processed things, whatever. So anyway, sometimes a little bit of effort goes a long way. Yeah, exactly. I like that. Nice. So just pointing that out. So I have, ding. So I have next week, I do have a blog technically already written and planned. However, I'm actually going to put you on the spot, and I kind of wanted to have a conversation and teach these guys what we talked about while you were on the treadmill. Oh, shit. I don't even remember what we talked about. Oh, the fear? Yes. The fear thing? Yep. Okay. Can we talk about that? Right now? No. Next week. Yeah. Can we talk about that? Sure. Okay, good. So we're going to talk about something. She's going to embarrass the shit out of me, I'm sure. The shit out of her. No, but you guys are going to walk away with a really, I think, amazing tool potentially. I'm not just here for the comedy, okay? She's really? No, I'm just kidding. She's really not. She gets to share a lot of the stories because here's the thing: I'm not in it anymore, right? Yeah. Like I'm not in the process anymore. I'm there, which is cool for me to be able to say, like,
this is the science and these are all things I've learned.
But you're in maintenance mode as far as your life.
So different for people to be able to hear like, oh, she's where I am. She's having the same struggles that I am.
And I've been doing it for 3 years, and I'm not trying to rush the process. I'm just trying to understand everything and trying to learn everything. And because, you know, a lot of that for me has to do with, if I rush the process, I feel like I'm going to miss something integral. Integral.
We're just all about the words today, man.
I'm going to miss something important that I should absorb, right?
Yeah.
That will not help me move forward.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like if I don't slow down to really take a hard look at how I'm feeling and what's going on with my body and everything, I'm going to miss some signs.
Yeah.
And then it won't be long-term weight loss.
Yes. I heard this quote the other day that it kind of made me think of you, because I know you've been having some epiphanies lately, and it said that an epiphany is hearing something, or it's shifting from something you know to something that's like in your bones. That you feel deep, like it finally hits, which is why you guys will hear us repeat some of the same things, because you guys need to hear it in different ways. And it may just be that one time that you're like, oh, I know she said that before, but like, now I know it. Now it is like a part of me and a part of my knowledge and a part of what I do.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been a long freaking journey, but I'm happy with where I am despite my obstacles and my frustration. I do get frustrated, I'm not going to lie. I'm like, why am I not J-Lo body yet? Like,
aren't we all?
Like, why have I not achieved J-Lo level fitness? But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with I'm happy with what I'm learning about myself. I'm overall just more joyful and more energetic, so you can't beat that.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
But yeah, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about with you here, like a lot of the stuff that we're talking about today, is stuff that in year one, Kat and I had hard, long talks about.
Yes.
Because again, I mean, I did not cook for myself. Everything was Amy's Organics or something to that effect, and I had the thought distortion of, oh, well, it's organic, it's healthy, it'll be fine. No. So Kat first got me to quit eating processed food.
Yes.
Then got me to start cooking for myself. Then we had various talks and conversations about actual nutrition, and I'm still learning about nutrition today.
Which, can I ask you, because I remember when we first started talking about like me trying to get you to cook, and there was a lot of resistance at first.
I was afraid of the kitchen.
You're afraid of the kitchen.
Yeah.
So do you remember like what because I'm sure there's a lot of people listening who are kind of the same way, where they just have this limiting belief of like, I can't cook.
Well, for me, it was my family. My family, I grew up with a mom and a dad who cooked. They cooked traditionally Puerto Rican food, like Caribbean food. And if it wasn't, and they did, my parents to this day do not know how to cook for 1 or 2. They cook for like 15.
I can vouch for this. So we came over to her new house, and her mom had
cooked,
of rice. Oh my God, it was
for like
it was
30
delicious.
people.
Like I could use more of that.
My mother does not know how to cook for 1 or 2. So I was really insecure about my abilities to cook for 1. I had convinced myself that it wasn't worth it to cook for 1. In my family, food is love, so you cook for others more than you cook for yourself. And if it's just me, what's the point? Like, I had no joy. There was no joy, in cooking and preparing for myself. I have no knife skills to this day. I make my husband nervous whenever I pick up a knife. I have no knife skills. But I'm learning, so and I'm that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, it was just, I had a lot of resistance and then on top of that, all the recipes I knew were like fried pork chops.
And not terribly healthy.
No, because it's Caribbean food, and Caribbean food is delicious, but it is not healthy.
So how did you start? So do you remember what the first like?
Well, I think what pushed me over the edge was so Whole30 was the catalyst for a lot of things for me, because you can't just go to the store. Now, actually, you can. There are a lot of Whole30 approved because people are on the bandwagon, and they have more of an understanding of whole foods. But at the time, like 2.5 years ago when I was doing it, you kind of had to make all your own meals, and so
Yeah.
I was meal prepping.
Yeah.
So then I kind of got over it, and I was like, okay, I am cooking for one, but I'm cooking for one over many days, so I can still make these big batches and feel like I'm being productive.
Yes.
And enjoy it over 3 days or 4 days.
So for those of you who have that limiting belief of like, oh, I can't cook for one, like everything comes in packages of 1, 2, 3, 4, or higher amounts. It's like she said, cook once, eat a million times. And if you're that person that you're like, oh, I hate leftovers, then don't have it 2 nights in a row. Freeze it.
Yeah.
Like put them in individual things and freeze it. So in 2 weeks, when you haven't just had it, you can pull that out, heat it up, and then that's a really fast meal.
It is the same damn thing as buying it frozen from the store, except for you know what's in it because you made it yourself.
Yes.
Exactly. I have this conversation with my husband all the time. Oh, I don't want to eat leftovers. And I'm like, what do you think you're eating when you put something in the microwave? Those are leftovers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's real true.
It's all paradigm shifts and limiting self-beliefs and thought distortions.
Yeah.
Which I'm all about learning about my own thought distortions because those are real. And they convince you that something is true when it's not, and it keeps you from moving forward. So right now, in my personal process, I'm journaling a lot about my own thought distortions, and I think that's kind of pushing me past the fear that we're going to talk about next week. But anyways, so again, a lot of my journey started with conversations with Kat. If you want to have a conversation with Kat, how can they get a hold of you?
So if you look in the show notes, then there's always going to be a link that goes over to my blog, which that is basically my website, and you can always contact me through there. So it's katspangler.com or katspangler.com/blog, KATSPANGLER.com. You also can find me on Instagram at katspanglerunleashed. And if you go into the link in my bio, then there's always going to be a button on there that's like, book your call, what have you. So that's super easy.
Has anybody taken advantage of this, I'm wondering?
Not yet. But I also know we're still relatively early on with our podcast.
Yeah.
So. And also, I was actually having a conversation with somebody about this the other day. A lot of times people will have to listen to someone for like up to years.
The call to action.
Before that they'll actually go ahead. Like my girlfriend Annie, she was telling me yesterday, she was like, yeah, girl, like I was following your stuff for a year and a half. And I knew what you did, and I knew I needed it. She's like, but it took a year and a half before I actually reached out.
I think for me,
and same thing with you. I think most people that have worked with me, it's been like, oh my God, I've been following you forever. Now let's work together.
With me, it was I had an awareness of Kat through our friends, and everybody for like a year and a half. Everybody was saying, oh, you need to meet Kat. You need to work with Kat. You need to, and I'm like, yeah, but like. How much is it gonna cost? Is it expensive? What is she gonna make me do? Like, am I even gonna vibe with this girl? Like, what? I mean, it's important that you vibe with the person that's
very true.
Going to push you to change your life. If you do not like the person that is coaching you, you're not gonna change anything. You're just gonna resist them the whole time.
That's why I always do a free coaching call, not just for you guys, but for me too. Because I also get to decide if we are a good match.
Right.
So it is very much like the phone calls they always happen because I'm like, we need to test like our chemistry. I need to see if you're in the right mental place that I know you're going to actually be successful with things. Like it's two-sided.
Yeah. So that was my resistance over the court. What are we going to vibe? What is she going to make me do? Like, and then of course I had other biases that I won't go into right now. But
you know, you're talking about she mentioned that a couple weeks ago.
So I mean, it took me a really long time, and then even my first phone call with Kat, I remember I was walking my dog. I had to like physically leave my house to talk on the phone with Kat because I was so like there was something in me that was like like there was just like damn. Well, it wasn't you. It was what this meant for me.
Yeah.
It was accepting the fact that I have heard a call to action in myself and I've been ignoring it or putting it on the back burner for a year because I didn't want to deal with it. And now this opportunity is here and I have to accept it. And I remember having these mixed thoughts and mixed emotions that I had to like go out and physically go out for a walk while we were on the phone to kind of keep myself grounded.
And a lot of times the thing that you are resisting most is oftentimes the thing that you need the most. And what you don't want to do, because I've had this conversation a million times with different clients, is we'll start working together and they're like, man, I wish I would have reached out like last year when I first thought about it. And they're like, where could I have been if I had started working on this?
And that is a thought distortion that I also had. Yeah. But the thing is, you're only ready for something when you're ready for it. Mm-hmm. Like when you yourself decide to take the first step. Otherwise, a lot of your actions will be in vain.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that actually gives a nice segue into, I did want to mention, because the launch is only going to be for the next 2 weeks. I think by the time this episode airs, there will be like 1 more week to actually sign up. So one of the biggest issues that I see, and this is kind of shifting more towards entrepreneurship than it is weight loss, but it still kind of applies. But one of the biggest things that I see is that we try to start taking action when we ourselves are not ready. And I do want to say, like, action is always better than inaction. But if there's a way that you can prepare yourself to be successful with that action, then you want to do it. Which is why, so I have launched, like I mentioned earlier, it's called the Start Strong Bootcamp for entrepreneurs. And it basically came from this place where I was looking at, so I have spent almost like getting close to multiple 5 figures on various coaching programs. And I have seen again and again these groups of people where there's always a couple of people that do really, really well and they get a good return on investment. And then I see a lot of them who don't. And they've spent all this money and they think like, okay, once I go ahead and just drop the money on the coach, then I'm going to get all the answers that I'm looking for. But they have not done the work within themselves to actually act on what they're being taught consistently. So it's like they'll sign up, they'll be really excited, and then either they won't finish or they won't be all in, or they'll kind of listen to what the coach is saying, but they'll have like fear-based stuff that's holding them back, that's not allowing them to fully act on it. So this Start Strong Bootcamp for entrepreneurs is 6 weeks. It's what I call the program before the program. So it's 6 weeks of preparing yourself and your habits and your mindset so that you can then move forward to whatever program it is that you're going to do and actually be successful with it. So it's learning how to be more productive. It's learning, like in one of my first coaching programs, they had us start off with charging high ticket coaching programs. And I had to have the right money mindset to go ahead and actually follow what this guy was saying to charge. Because it was I was very like, ooh, but I had to work on that money mindset and get to that place where I was like, no, you know what? Yes,
this is what I'm worth. And I find that women tend to have a little bit more of a hard time asking for what they're worth than our male counterparts. Yeah. And there's a whole lot of psychology behind that I won't get into right now. But yeah, I mean, it's important.
Right. Yeah. So we're talking about getting the right amount of energy. So I'm going to teach you how to fuel your body for energy so that you're not like, oh, you know, I got home from my regular 9 to 5 and I'm supposed to be working on this other coaching program, but I'm just too tired. It's working, like I said, on breaking the negative habits that you know are sabotaging your results and that you know are sabotaging you every time you go into those programs. And it's all of these underlying pieces where if you get this stuff under control, you are so much more likely to be successful as an entrepreneur. Even if you don't decide to go on to another business program, like this is going to help you as an entrepreneur have what it takes to build a business that is massively successful.
It takes just the steps.
It really does. Like people will ask me, you know, how did I get to where I am with owning a business? And it has way more to do with my habits than it does with my tactics. Like, I can't point to one marketing strategy or one sales strategy or one funnel that was that was the thing that put me over. But it was just the habits that I have that have allowed for a consistent revenue to come in and for that business to build. So if you want to learn what those habits are, you guys definitely want to sign up. I only have 5 spots because this is the first time that I'm opening up this program to the public. I've run some people through kind of beta stuff, but I want to keep it relatively small so I can give you guys really individualized attention. And like I said, by the time this goes up, I think there's only going to be about 1 more week left of it actually being open enrollment, and then I'm going to close it down.
So keep an eye on the date of this podcast, because if you're listening to this in 2021 or beyond, you missed your chance. I'm sure we've evolved at that point. Hopefully we've evolved to better podcasting or whatever. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, so we're talking about October of 2019.
Exactly. And I'll be posting a link in the show notes if that's something. You do have to apply, so I'll be posting a link to the application. And then within that, we will get on a call before you sign up. So if you're like, oh, I just want to learn more, I want to see if this is the right thing for me, then go ahead and apply. We'll get you on the application call if it looks like you're a good fit, and then that's the point that I'll be able to answer any questions you have.
Well, so we got to wrap it up because we're getting
I know.
We went off the rails on this one.
Did.
So, but maybe we had more fun. Maybe you had more fun listening to us. Who knows? So
where can they find you? I've already mentioned me.
So I am at Giovanni Cruz on Instagram or giovannicruz.com. That's GIOV as in Vanessa, A, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy, IECRUZ. Like Penelope, not like Tom.
I love that we're adding more into it every time. Like,
well,
so
you make me spell it
G
out.
G is in George, I is in Irving, O is in Olive.
That's not true. That's actually what I use whenever I'm spelling my name over the phone, because people will straight up make up letters in my name. So I'm just like, I'm always like, this is how you spell it.
Yeah. Break it down.
Breaking it down for you. Or like when I go to Starbucks, I have to say my name is GIO. Because if I just say G-O, they literally give me a cup
like
with the word go on it.
Like, what?
So, yeah, girl, this is training. I've been doing this forever. Okay. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. And we got some good stuff coming up for you next week.
Yes, it's going to be really good stuff. This is not anything that we have covered so far, so definitely make sure you tune in. Make sure if you like this episode, go ahead and share it across your social media channels. Tag me. I will repost you and thank you and give you all the virtual hugs and hearts. Subscribe to the channel. If you can leave us a review, that would be absolutely amazing.
That was cute.
Thank you. Make sure you leave us a review, and within the review you can always mention, just like Leslie did, if you want us to be covering any other topics, just let us know and we'll be happy to cover those.
Still waiting on someone to challenge us.
Yep, that's right. You still can comment to get us to do. You have to comment. What are they commenting? Do it. For the 5 a.m. challenge, where we're going to take a few days of waking up at 5 a.m. like the high performers of the world do, because neither one of us are morning people. So if you want to see us suffer for a few days, feel free to comment, do it. Once we get 50 comments saying do it, then we will go ahead and make
I'm really hoping it takes a while.
happen. I think it will, luckily.
Yeah, we've got like not one, so.
Yeah, so, we're fine. And thanks, fine. Leslie, by the way, for not being one of the, because when she commented, I was waiting for her. I was like, is she going to say do it?
She going to say do it. She going to tell us to do it. Yeah, well, I'm mooching off J-Lo's schedule. We know I'm obsessed. So I'm going to be like, what does J-Lo do? Let's follow that plan.
Let's do everything. Like, what is she eating today?
J-Lo's plan.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's it.
All right, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, good rest of your week, and we'll see you back here next time, same place. Have a good one, and remember to live your life unleashed.